This is the High School Crossfire. Welcome back.
Uganda spends over 3.5 trillion on importation of petroleum products. This is so absurd for our country. Moreover, the Pearl of Africa, which is so abundant in water bodies, strong wind currents, and abundant sunshine, owing to the fact that we lie within the equator, we are having a lot of sunshine. Think about it. How much harvest would Uganda make in the renewable energy sector if we increase taxes on petroleum products to fund research? Ladies and gentlemen, the first negator came here and is actually not understanding the whole reason why we are here. We are talking about funding renewable energy research, but he's here talking about climate change. Then what? Ladies and gentlemen, he talked about the poor usage of petroleum product and then the proper usage of petroleum product. Does it really matter? We are talking about the usage of petroleum products, whether it's proper or not. These are non-renewable resources and we need to fund renewable energy. Because either way, these petroleum products are going to get finished, whether we use them well or not. Then he also talked about mitigation and climate change. I'm still finding where climate change and mitigation comes into a debate. We are talking about funding renewable energy. And then our parameters are basing in energy transition from non-renewable energy like petroleum to renewable energy, because the sunshine is free, the wind is free, the water is free. And he's here coming to tell us that we are talking about climate change. I'm still very perturbed, dear judges, please note. And then he's talking about Dubai heavily relying on petroleum products. This is exactly why we need to increase the taxes on petroleum products in Dubai. Reason being, one, petroleum products in Dubai are very cheap. So whether we increase the products or not, Dubai has an income per capita of $4,000 per person, income per capita. So which means even if we increase by 12% the price of fuel or petroleum products in Dubai, it still will not have an effect on the demand of petroleum products. Please take note, I still don't know why you're talking about climate change when we're here talking about renewable resources. Dear judges, he was also asking, why taxation? Why taxation? The first thing here I'm here to talk about is the economic opportunities. Investing in renewable energy research will create new job opportunities in the clean energy sector. The international renewable energy sector has employed over 12.3 million people globally as of 2020, an increase in 5% of the previous year. Ladies and gentlemen, the solar photovoltaic sector alone contributed 3.8 million jobs according to the International Energy Agency. So when we increase taxes, we can stimulate development of such economic activities around the world. As of our work plan, my first speaker talked about increasing taxes on petroleum products gradually according to the economy of the country. We're not going to increase by 12% in all countries, but we're going to look at the economy of all countries and increase accordingly, according to what people can pay. And then we are also going to allocate this tax that we are going to get towards funding research and development of renewable energy technologies, including solar, wind, hydroelectric power, and biofuels. So you're not going to come here and tell me that the fact that we're increasing prices on petroleum products, we need to reduce their consumption, whether they're being consumed well or not. When we increase taxes on these petroleum products, we are automatically going to reduce their consumption. And what does that mean? It means that in a long run, I'm sorry, my first speaker didn't talk about the time frame. We have a time frame of 10 to 20 years. In those 10 to 20 years, we are planning on slowly diverting people from the petroleum products so that they start using this renewable energy. This renewable energy is not going to get finished. I want the negators to come and give us a scenario where wind stopped blowing in our country. I want them to come and give us a scenario where the sun stopped shining. I want them to come and give us a scenario where the rivers stopped flowing water to generate hydroelectric power. But they're here telling us climate change. Then what? Where does climate change come in relation to renewable energy? Denied. Germany, for example, has implemented similar measures and witnessed positive outcomes in terms of reduced greenhouse gas emissions, which has enhanced security and employment opportunities. Ladies and gentlemen, they came here. I'm still going to refer to their Dubai point. Ladies and gentlemen, Dubai petroleum products are very cheap. About less than $1 actually, you can get around half a liter of petroleum, of let's say like oil. But these people are also very rich. So we, as the United Nations, are not saying that we are going to increase these taxes by a big margin in countries like Uganda, where people cannot afford this. Because, of course, in countries like the United Arab Emirates or the the Arab countries, which are very abundant in. Thank you very much. I rest my case.
A very good afternoon to everyone. My name is Janet Fidaus Nakagulire Gombe SS. So, panel, we need to acknowledge that for every debate to take place, we must have a problem that is calling for change in status quo. So they come and tell us about how they want to increase taxes on the petroleum sector. However, they did not give us reasons why they should increase specifically on the petroleum sector to fund renewable energy production. We come and tell them that yes, we are not against renewable energy development and research. However, it should not be at the expense of petroleum, because they've shown us that they're not against all the adverse effects that come with petroleum. They don't want to address anything like climate change, which we obviously know is already happening, and it is so obvious. People in Bududa are dying because of that. However, they think that there are no effects of climate change. So these are things that we need them to understand are happening. One, we come and tell them that renewable energy research, yes, we are not against this. However, there are other mechanisms through which we can attain this. They come and tell us about how petroleum in Dubai is very cheap. However, because it is cheap in Dubai, it does not mean that even in an LDC like Uganda, it is very cheap. This means that people in Uganda are going to be forced to withdraw from petroleum. People will park cars and motorcycles. What would this lead to? This will lead to something like a societal backlash, where people are going to come against government. What that brings about is, one, increase in poverty, but also people having very low levels of development. So in our side of the house, we say, yes, we are not against renewable energy. However, we think that we can attain renewable energy through all the sums of money that are coming from petroleum, because they acknowledge the fact that petroleum is bringing in a lot of money. Therefore, we can use this very same amount of money that are coming from petroleum to develop renewable energy, because we all know that petroleum is a non-renewable energy resource. So that means that either way it will get done. This is why we are saying, let us exploit it to the maximum and get amounts of money from it, and then develop all the other sectors like the renewable energy sector. We told them that yes, when you come and say that we are going to increase taxes, what this means is, because Total is afraid of making losses, they are going to force people to pay large amounts of money. What then happens is people are going to withdraw from Total and look for other sources of fuel. At a point in time where all petrol stations in our country are increasing, that means that people are going to be forced to run away from this sort of fuel, right? So what that means is, you're not going to either way get anything from your policy. We come and tell them that there's so many people who are employed by petroleum. So when you increase taxes on Total, this means that the owner of Total is going to be compelled to fire some people and remain with people that he can be able to pay. What that means is, people are going to be unemployed, but also you do not cater for the climate change effects that come with petroleum. So what do we tell them? We come and tell them that for us to there must be a reason as to why we are increasing taxes on petroleum. So what that means that unless they come and give us a problem in status quo, we do not think that their policy is something that is needed, because they show us they are so comfortable with status quo, and we've shown them that whatever they are calling to attain, we can attain it with environmental protection and also ensuring economic development. Yes, sir, you had a POI.
My question is, did you listen when the second speaker talked about the economic status of a country? Us implying our taxes depending on the economic status of a country.
So they come and talk about economic development. I understand. They come and talk about economic development. So how are you developing? By making sure that people are unemployed, by making sure that you're increasing taxes, you're increasing products on literally everything. We all know that many people depend on plastics. So at a point in time when you raise taxes on petroleum, this means that even prices of plastics are going to increase. Almost every sector is going to increase. So this means that, one, we shall have retardation in not only transportation, but also health sectors, because we've seen that generators also run on fuel. So that means that if people are unable to access this, there are so many people that are depending on things like generators, i.e. schools, hospitals. You're making it very hard for people to access this sort of goods. What that means is, you're incapacitating people, but also secondly, you're promoting poverty, but also thirdly, you are chasing away the goal of attaining economic development by 2030, which is in the SDGs. So we do not get what they are calling for. Unless they come and give us a problem that is caused by petroleum, that is making them to call for something like renewable energy at the expense of petroleum, we then don't think that they have any cause that they're advocating for in this debate. So unless they come and give us problems and also answer questions as to why it should be only petroleum that they're increasing taxes, and also why they have to increase taxes and not look for any other sort of thing like carbon markets or something like that. And thirdly, unless they come and tell us about the problems that are existing with this sort of arrangement, we do not agree with whatever they come and say. Thank you.
This is the High School Crossfire. We'll be back in a minute.